Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Neeru Tandon from Department of English, VSSG College, Kanpur. We are discussing paper English language teaching, and this particular module, the second language instruction in India, has been written by Dr. Reshu Shukla. In this module, we are discussing need, importance and functions of language, difference between the native language and the second language. As far as India is concerned, English is the second language and native language may vary from Hindi, Tamil, Telugu. It depends upon the area concerned. Process and stages of second language acquisition, then factors affecting second language learning process, principles and methods of second language instructions, and role of a second language instructor. Let us start with the great poet and writer Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Coleridge is a known figure of 19th century England who wrote a lot of things with Wordsworth. He said, "Language is the armory of the human mind and at once contains the trophies of its past and the weapons of its future conquest." Unquote. Ever since the beginning of human life, the language has been the most convenient medium for sharing our ideas, feelings, thoughts, experiences, and knowledge. Initially, to fulfill these needs, people used symbols, signals, signs, postures, and gestures to convey their messages. The verbal use of language is a result of a search for an appropriate medium of expression. So we can say the process of language development is the second name of socialization. It has played a great role in the growth of society in all aspects. The importance and need of language in our life has increased to manyfold with technical and professional developments and advancements in almost every field of human experience. In present scenario, we live in a global village. It has introduced the culture of a word family where we all are interconnected to each other. This dynamically changing social outlook has given birth to multilingualism. As a result, approximately 5,000 to 7,000 languages are being used actively in the world today. This has carved a niche for a comprehensive study of language instruction program for uninterrupted growth of society and to fulfill the need of rapidly advancing social structure. Now, what is language? Often we talk about second language, first language, then at least we must be clear in our thought process what is language. The language is a combination of signs, symbols, alphabet, words, vocabulary and grammar to construct a meaningful message. It is a logical arrangement of written and oral words in an extendable and modifiable structure of grammar. This scientific implication of language is known as linguistics. In order to learn any language, one has to understand the development process of language. Now, what is this language development process? You can see in this chart that we have observation of environment. Now, after that, using language as medium of expression on one hand, then analysis of experience on the other, and then conversion of thoughts into language, that is one, and finally the formation of thoughts. So that is the process how a language develops. So whenever we talk about all this process or the development, then the formation of thought using language, that is a different phenomena altogether. Whenever we think anything, of course we think in a language. That language may be any language for that matter. But the formation of thoughts cannot happen without a language. So if that language is L1, then what happens while expressing it in L2, we just do the translation process. So researchers and teachers, they train students that they should start thinking in L2 itself so that that particular language should get its development. The functions of languages are manifold. Language contributes in almost every aspect of human development. It is used to express the needs and desires, share experiences, feelings, opinion, gain knowledge, convey facts and information, form the relationship, perceive social control, etc. The linguist Stephen Krashen, in his monitor theory, talks about L1 and L2. He said, I quote, "There are two independent systems of second language performance, the acquired system and the learned system. The acquired system or acquisition is the product of a subconscious process very similar to the process children undergo when they acquire their first language. It requires meaningful interaction in the target language, natural communication in which speakers are concentrated not in the form of their utterances but in the communicative act." Unquote. So you have seen that the learned system or learning is the product of formal instruction, and it comprises a conscious process which results in conscious knowledge about the language. For example, knowledge of grammar rules. According to Krashen, learning is less important than acquiring, because acquiring is a natural process and learning somewhere or the other needs some extra help and it is artificial. So there are various stages of the second language learning. What are they? At stage 1, we acquire in whatever method we acquire, but we do acquire. So that is the learning of a language. It starts at this stage. Then at stage 2, when we learn some of the nuances of language, then the fluency or the so-called proficiency may be claimed. That is obtaining expertise on learnt language. Then at stage 3, which is the stage of maintenance, capability to maintain learned knowledge after learning session is over. Because once we learn the rules and regulation, the job is not done yet. After learning all those things, when we put it into practice, then only we can claim that it is our own. And then generalization is stage 4. Ready to use learned skill in different occasion and environment, to put it to practice, to put it to the particular test for which we have learned, for which we have acquired. So that is the part where we start communicating or expressing that in front of others. And the stage 5 and the final stage is known as adaptation. Permanent storage of the skill learned that becomes our own. Then we don't forget it. Then we don't need to consult anyone or learn anything to communicate. So as far as language is concerned, that becomes our own after this 5th stage. So the learning style, pattern, rules of second language are different from native language. That difference is always there between L1 and L2. Because mother tongue, that is also known as L1, it really influences the second language. And how? That the way we pronounce words, the way we understand the concept of grammar, the way we frame meaning pattern, and we use syntax. So in all the 4 ways, mother tongue has its own influence on the second language. Suppose we just pronounce the word in a very particular way in our mother tongue. So whenever we speak the second language, somehow or the other, that accent, that effect of that particular way of speaking, it reflects through L2 as well. And because it just creates its effect on L2, so the instructions are also different, and instructions are very important, that we have already discussed it. So principles of second language instructions, they are different from L1, because L1 is mostly acquired and L2 is mostly learned also as far as acquisition is concerned. So consideration of a student's background is very, very important. A language instructor should consider the complete background of these students, that may be social, that may be psychological, or maybe both, and their performance in other learning activities. This will help in knowing the learning pattern and comfort zone of the learner. For example, if a student performs well in written test of language and is unable to answer oral. Now, what is the solution? That the instructor should provide maximum opportunities of classroom discussion in spite of forcing him or her to answer the question. Whenever we talk about instructions in second language, we should make it clear this instructor may be the teacher, the role model, the helper, or instructions may come from technology as well. So language learning as creative activity. It should be governed by creativity, where all students can perform according to their innate capacity. Many times we have discussed in various modules that it should be the language class should be interactive. This will enhance the confidence of the speakers, and students should be given group activity where they have liberty to just perform according to their capacity and free will. Role play, individual presentations, group presentations, concept writing, picture writing, these are the opportunities. An opportunity to listen also should be there through audio recordings, followed by performance-based assessment. Now, if a student takes active part in group discussion but struggles in stage presentation, then the solution is that the instructor should not mention it as his or her weakness. The best way is to make such students overcome their stage fear, to design role play opportunities in group discussion sessions. Now, the best way of learning is by doing. When you hear something, then a certain portion of that particular thing may be acquired. When you just watch, a better portion. But when you get yourself involved in that particular thing, then the most portion of that particular learning becomes your own. So as we know, practice makes one perfect. The concept very well implies on learning of the second language, which is purely an effort-based learning process. In this respect, the classroom instruction should be followed by a proper set of classwork and homework practice also. If a student performs brilliantly in oral activities but commits spelling and grammatical errors while writing his assignments, the instructor should ask him to make a presentation of his choice using particular tense or grammatical structure in which he is not doing fairly well. This will enhance the student's grammar understanding along with improved drafting skill. If the instructor humiliates that child in front of other students of the group, then the learning process will be slow. The student will feel shy. He will not come forward to learn with an open mind. So it is better that those problems should be discussed either in private or indirectly. A student-centered learning environment should be created. A language learning class should be the student-centered. This system promotes a two-way communication process where students are not passive listeners. Rather, they are active participants from the beginning till the end of the session. If in a class, students do not ask questions and sit silently, it is possible in two circumstances only. Either the child knows everything or he just can't follow anything. So a teacher should not ignore it. Their silence is not the proof of their understanding all the time. It may be due to other reasons like fear of punishment, a strict image of instructor, embarrassment, anxiety, etc. So the question-answer pattern is advisable in such condition. The instructor should motivate the learners to come forward, to speak, to express their doubts and get their solutions. The best language class is the one that combines all the four language skills. when we just motivate the learners to use listening in a very controlled way, then speaking in whatever way they can, and other than that, writing also should be, written communication should also be the part of it. So listening, reading, writing and speaking, all the 4 skills should be encouraged, should be developed. Then only the language may be acquired in a better way and the job of instructor will be complete. Now, what is the structuring of the learning task? A learning task should be a combination of theory and practical. Theory alone will make learning monotonous. On the other hand, practical exercises in absence of theoretical rules will never complete the learning process. If students struggle with the complex rule of grammar, the instructor should conduct a grammar class in the form of activities. While teaching perfect tense to the students, a task based on past incidents from their own lives should be given to narrate the story. For example, how did you spend your last Sunday? So that is something where for a student there is no dearth of material. He knows everything, whatever happened, whatever he felt, what he wanted to, what he could not. So the only thing is the accumulation of thought and expression of thought using the proper target language. Now there is the process from inductive to deductive. In inductive process, a piece of knowledge or some information is shared with students and is asked to draw a general conclusion out of it. Deductive method describes general idea first and promotes learner to general relevant information later. It is a teacher-centered approach which moves from general to particular. If students struggle in generalizing their knowledge in different occasions, then a project should be given by the instructor which requires different contextual information followed by suitable conclusions. From known to unknown. The learning should take place from known facts to unknown facts. When known things are discussed first, the students do not feel difficulty in exploring to the new and unknown facts. In fact, the process becomes easy because now they are used to. Because of the increased level of interest, they will try their level best to catch the things. Every student has his or her own level of knowledge about the particular topic. So instructor should initiate with the understanding level of the student to teach new things to them. Now there are certain points to be taken care of. Follow one thing at a time. Every topic should be taught independently. While teaching vocab, grammar instruction should be avoided, and the same should be done with the teaching of grammar. If a student gets confused with the usage like intelligent or intelligence, beauty or beautiful, important or importance, dear, dear, principle, principle, so the instructor should teach the meaning of these words in one session and their grammatical formation, part of the speech, homophones in different sessions, so that to make it more and more clear, to avoid the confusion and to make a student feel comfortable with all the forms. Formation of correct learning habit is also very, very important. Correct learning habits lay a strong foundation for subject knowledge. An appropriate focus on vocab, spelling and grammar should be taught in segments. Sometimes students unconsciously develop a habit of taking wrong impressions of the subject taught at first occurrence and improve it when asked to do so or revise. So, it is the job of the instructor that a student should be encouraged to pay attention on understanding of the topic first and then to implement it with the correct knowledge. One should not feel shy if he or she commits a mistake while learning anything. Error correction is the part of the instructor, but it should not be done in a harsh and frequent manner. This should be handled with positive approach. taking errors as a part of learning. The most frequent correction may create more confusion and complicate the learning process. If possible, error correction should not be done in the group. It should be indicated either by writing comments or by discussing the problems child to child. If a student, in spite of having good command over written language, is committing grammatical mistakes while speaking, then the correction should be done after the student completes his or her answer. If it is done in the middle of the process, the student may lose the confidence and get more confused. There is a spiral fashion of teaching. We must know what is it. Learning should be there in the spiral fashion. This will enhance contextual usage of the rules. It will also help in analyzing the examples and their correct implementation. In teaching particular form of tense, for example, in different usages should be mentioned at the same time for spiral learning. For example, I'll go to the market today. What is it? Is it correct or not? The student should come forward and he may say, I will go to market. Then we will go to temple tomorrow. So there should be difference between these two sentences, and a student should be in the position to understand the difference between these two tenses also. Now, understanding of individual differences. Every individual has different learning capacity and level. This mix should be handled skillfully, giving every individual equal importance. This will keep all students engaged in active learning process. If a class is of mixed ability class, then the task should be given according to the level of students. The bright students will complete the task much earlier in comparison to average and slow learners if the demarcation is not made. So the assignments of a bright student should be comparatively tough to maintain his interest level intact. I told you that teaching should be the spiral way. So teaching with examples is connected with that only. Examples are better than precept. So examples provide a visual effect and understanding of any topic. It is a mnemonic technique that when you just connect it with something they already know, then that thing becomes permanent for their memory. Mere description of rules will not help students forming permanency of knowledge. If we need to teach physical barriers occurring in the communication process, the examples such as noise, disturbance, echo, unwanted sound made by devices like fan, etc., it should be quoted appropriately and it should be demonstrated in front of the student so that they can just differentiate between various sounds and they can just understand what all these things mean for them. Now, dynamic environment of learning is also very, very important. Instructions should be done involving variety of activities to reduce the chance of monotony and keep the environment alive. This will also ensure the regular presence of students in the class. Their interest will be always, it will be live. They will try to come and have their doubts solved in the particular class only. Use of audio-visual aid is very, very important to make class lively. Instructor should not use only the lecture method. He should take help from the teaching aids and teaching material, especially the audio-visual aids. Systematic and planned assessment system is also important. Learning is incomplete without proper assessment of taught subject. Every student, when he performs in whatever capacity he can, he wants that teacher should say something, whether he is right, good, better or the best. So it should be in certain intervals to get the feedback of learning. And if assessment reflects weak performance of a student in particular topic, then the instructor may conduct group of individual remedial classes according to the need. I'll just repeat whatever we have done in points, like follow the principle of one thing at a time, then formation of correct learning habits, consider error as part of learning, spiral fashion teaching, understanding of individual differences, teaching with examples, dynamic environment of learning, use of audio-visual aids, and finally systematic and planned assessment of their learning. Now let us concentrate on methods of instructions. We all know there are various methods of language acquisition, but we are dealing those methods, those very methods from the point of view of the instructor, like grammar translation method. Teaching is based on grammar rules, vocabulary and a set pattern of sentence structure and word formation. The method enables students getting comprehensive knowledge of language and its structure. It is a teacher-centered approach where learners only follow the instructions to finish the task. So the instructor should be very confident while using this method, because the onus is on him only. All the examples, all the problem solving things are supposed to be done by the instructor only. Then there is the direct method where use of mother tongue is prohibited. That is, the direct learning of language is practiced. Emphasis is laid on paralinguistic features like pronunciation, intonation, stress, voice modulation, pitch, articulation, etc. It ensures the active participation of students in the classroom activities, and students should focus on rote learning without paying much attention to the grammatical structure of sentence. Then we have audiolingual method, of course, which strengthens all modes of learning skills, maintaining a sequential order of listening, speaking, reading and writing in the progressive manner. Total physical response TPR method, oral proficiency is increased, listening skills are improved, and dependency on teacher also increases. That is the disadvantage of TPR method. Now, communicative language teaching CLT, this method employs a variety of communication activities based on day-to-day conversation practice. Fluency is very well achieved through regular practice, but there is again a disadvantage that lack of grammar learning opportunities just sometimes create problems for written communication. So there is silent way method, community language learning, and there are certain prerequisites for instructor also. Like an instructor should have a good command over the language, the proper training in second language education should be there, understanding of social and cultural background of students should be taken care of, understanding of students' individual needs, encouraging use of second language outside the classroom as well for practicing, an eagerness to connect with communities, and a friendly relationship with the student is must. A progressive approach towards new ideas and techniques of learning will help. Knowledge of correct use of audio-visual aids as per the need of process will enhance the learning. Experimentative approach towards learning and introducing changes and new ideas will make the class lively. So, instructor and his role is always important for second language acquisition. In this way, instructor becomes all the more important because all the teaching aids and materials, the use depend upon the way instructor uses them. So keep learning, and thank you for visiting EPG Pathshala.